On September 11th, there was worldwide live television coverage, and the coverage continued throughout the day. The interesting thing is that at 10 p.m. London time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they reported that the Salomon Brothers building, Building 7, had collapsed. The only problem is Building 7 didn't collapse until 5:20 p.m. New York time.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center...
Building 7 is clearly visible right behind the reporter. It wasn't until 5:20 Eastern Time that it came down. Buildings 4, 5, and 6 maintained heavy damage from falling debris from the towers, and yet they remained standing. In Madrid, Spain, this building burned for nearly 24 hours, a raging inferno, and it didn't fall. Building 7 received minimal damage and suffered only a minor fire, and yet it collapsed. The collapse of a concrete and steel structure due to a fire had never happened before September 11th. So how did the BBC know ahead of time that it was to come down, unless the cover story that had been prepared for public consumption had been released, in this case, a little too early?